I like to ride motorcycles. I've had a lot of guys who don't ride but want to ask me about it. And all I can say is I don't recommend it. An accident that would amount to a minor inconvenience in a car would mean an extended hospital stay, or worse, on a motorcycle. They're fun, but I wouldn't advise anyone to take it up. One of my friends who had been shopping for a motorcycle finally got a Jeep instead, and I'm glad. Dwayne Allman died on his motorcycle right after recording live at Fillmore East. Maybe if he'd been driving a Jeep that day, kids today wouldn't have to listen to Nickelback. Riding a motorcycle is kind of like smoking. Yeah, it can be kind of fun or relaxing. But smoking is even more addictive than motorcycles, so you quickly get to the point where you're no longer making a choice. This is really only a prop for the sake of the video. Historically, the only time I've ever really smoked was at a party every 3 or 4 years. I really wanted to annoy people around me. Since the cancer came up last year, I can't even really pull that off now. So how about a drink? The drinking question seems easy. We've all seen what people who should have had good marriages, but had them totally come apart due to excessive boozing. We see people killed from drunk driving accidents all the time on the news. People make fools of themselves in public when they accidentally get too drunk. Happy hours smooth the speed bumps on the road to infidelity. Years of casual drinking lead to not-so-casual liver failure. Visiting a homeless shelter or a park bench in good weather, you'll meet lots of guys who are big fans of the hooch. The biggest concern I have about my closest friends is that their drinking could get out of hand and cause some bad things to happen. So the alcohol question's a no-brainer, right? Those Methodist women got it right about 100 years ago with Prohibition. Just ban it, pour it down the sewer, smash the distilleries with sledgehammers. What would Jesus do? Well, surprisingly, his first recorded supernatural miracle was a divine beer run. Talking about the book of John, chapter 2, verses 1 through 11. It was a wedding party, and a good one at that. Well into the celebration, they ran out of wine. Now, I've been at wedding receptions when this happens, and let me tell you, the situation is that everyone's already drunk, and they'd all be better off if they just go home. But everyone's having such a good time, no one wants to leave. But it's hard to find an all-night liquor store in the year 30 A.D. Mary might have been hitting a little bit herself that night, because she says to Jesus, hey, do your thing with the wine. Now, it was like a mother asked her child to play a piano or recite a poem at a party. Jesus responded likewise. Ma, I'm not ready. Not here. Stop asking. You're embarrassing me. But Mary lived up to the Jewish mother stereotype and persisted. And likewise, Jesus caved and said, all right, go fill some jugs with some water. Next thing you know, the wine's flowing. Someone quickly mentioned the apparent party foul. Rather than starting off with the wedding party with the good stuff and bringing out the cheap stuff when everyone's already drunk and doesn't care, this party person, who must not have been too drunk yet, noticed that the wine was a lot better than what they'd started off with. Jesus hadn't just turned water into wine, he turned the water into really good wine. It was a party on Jesus. So where's that leave us? Alcohol is responsible for many of society's ills, but Jesus used the power of God to create some. And he did it for people who'd already had one too many. Is the object lesson here that our mothers can talk us into anything? Maybe Jesus was letting us know it's okay to cut loose sometime? Maybe the what would Jesus do question isn't always so easy to answer as we might think. Well, I don't think this is just an excuse to cut loose all the time, and Jesus had much more to say about other things we need to be doing, like helping the poor and the needy. But you can't be service-focused every minute, or you'll just crash and burn. It's also worth noting that Jesus wasn't sneaking off with a secretary after work when he employed his wine-conjuring ability. He's at a friend's wedding, sitting around the table with his mother, for goodness sake. If you're going to tip the bottle, a family event you're at with your parents is a pretty safe place to do it. So advocating drinking? Definitely not. Nor smoking, nor motorcycle riding. If you do any of these things, if you don't do any of these things, you're a lot better off. I hope my kids avoid all three. But if you're inclined to take a drink occasionally, there are several scriptures that advise you, Jesus, please take it a little easy. So let's pray. Dear God, help us not to judge others for their vices, and to exercise your restraint in ours. Your will be done. Amen.